Everyone is talking about this story today, but I think almost nobody really understands why it matters on a global scale.
Right.
I mean, can a criminal inquiry involving the head of the world's most powerful central bank, the Fed, actually interfere with its ability to fight inflation?
That is the absolute critical question. It strikes right at the cornerstone of global financial trust.
Which is the Fed's independence.
Exactly. It's operational independence. So reports swirled in early January 2026 that the U.S. Department of Justice, the DOJ, had opened this criminal inquiry into Fed Chair Jerome Powell. And it's trending now because it tests the credibility of the entire institution.
And at a time when global markets really need clear, stable direction. Okay, so we need to go beyond the headlines here. For this deep dive, our mission is to look at the specific focus of this DOJ inquiry, the political backdrop, which is contentious, and why this all has such a profound impact on markets and, future policy rates.
To start with the specifics, the inquiry seems to be centered on two main areas. First, Powell's past congressional testimony. And second, and this is the really unusual part, discussions related to the Fed's massive headquarters renovations.
Wait, renovations and old testimony? That doesn't sound like it's about setting interest rates.
No, it's not.
So is the legal theory here that they're, hunting for some kind of financial misconduct with contracts? Or is the real target whether Powell was totally truthful to Congress?
The latter is often the mechanism for this kind of scrutiny on high officials. I mean, if you're investigating a very powerful entity, you often look at these ancillary issues, things like testimony or spending, to find leverage.
I see.
So while there were no indictments confirmed, the process itself, the subpoenas, it all suggests the DOJ is treating this as a serious matter.
And that context is so vital. If we connect this legal action to the broader political stage, you can see a pattern emerging.
You really can.
This all follows years where President Donald Trump and his allies were aggressively pressing the Fed for more rate cuts. They were, framing Powell's independence itself as a political target.
And that's what makes this so fascinating and so contentious. Observers are now weighing two pretty uncomfortable options.
Which are?
Is this a legitimate legal process? Or is it basically targeted political pressure meant to undermine the central bank's independence?
Right. To put the chair under immense personal and institutional pressure.
Precisely.
And that tension is exactly why global markets are paying such close attention. I mean, the Fed's credibility depends completely on it being free from political interference.
It does. And when the chair is subject to a criminal inquiry, even if it's not about rate setting, it fundamentally destabilizes that perceived autonomy.
So how did the market react? Was there a panic?
No, not a panic. And that's the key. The reaction was much more nuanced. Traders weren't pricing in an immediate crash.
They were pricing in
Uncertainty, that's the word. Some analyses noted these modest but very telling shifts in currencies and equity futures. They were reassessing the credibility of Fed guidance.
So instead of just focusing on economic data like inflation or jobs, analysts now have to scrutinize every statement from the Fed for signals on how this investigation might be influencing them.
Yes, it just injects this new, profound layer of uncertainty into everything, because the central bank's autonomy is now being tested in this very public and, frankly, unprecedented legal way.
The whole event sits right at that intersection of finance, law, and politics.
It really does, and it's forcing a global debate about the balance between, political accountability on one hand and monetary autonomy on the other.
Which leaves a really important question for you, the listener. If the Fed's focus shifts, even subtly, from data-driven policy to, let's say, defensive communications about this legal scrutiny, how can it ever truly convince the market that its decisions are independent? The future of stability might just hinge on that perception.